Hi, class. To me, diversity in a literal sense would mean a range of different things. On an everyday basis, I would see the topic of diversity as being exposed to a variety of different people and different customs and different cultures. To me, the difference between diversity and inclusion is that one can be exposed to diversity but never truly accept it or embrace it. And when you practice inclusion, that's you taking certain aspects of different customs and different cultures and you actually including it into your life. So the short film Identity fits in perfectly with Mean Girls, which is the trailer that I chose. Mean Girls is really the entire movie. The main character is trying to figure out how she can fit in, and she's not really accepting who she is. She's hiding behind this mask, and everybody in the movie is really hiding behind the mask. They're all like following the trends and whatever Regina George is doing. That's really what they're all doing. Nobody is really being themselves. And it isn't until the end where um, the main character, she's goes away from the group and she becomes her own person, and then everybody else kind of starts becoming their own person. There's actually a scene in Identity that really reminds me of Mean Girls, and it's when all the girls are huddled around the poster that says "This is what beauty is" or "This is what beauty looks like," and they're all wearing the same mask as the person that's wearing that mask in the poster. And that really reminds me of the scene in Mean Girls where the girl's like, well, if Georgina George does this, then I'm gonna do that because Georgina George does that. So I think that's another reason as to how they correlate. Lastly, in Plato's allegory of the cave, I believe that the connection that it makes with diversity and inclusion is that, well, the character in the allegory that he ends up escaping and or being set free, and he is exposed to the real outside world, and he finally gains an understanding of what's out there. And then when he tries to come back and explain that to the other people that he was trapped with, they don't want to accept that, so they rebel against him. So I think that from that, it means that a lot of times we are so comfortable in the culture that we've grown up in, or the culture that we've identified in, that we've had for ourselves, that we have for ourselves. So whenever something different comes along, we kind of get uncomfortable. So we don't practice inclusion. So I see that happening a lot. I feel like a lot of people are scared to be exposed to diversity just because they are very comfortable with the culture that they currently have, and some people might even be scared that they're going to lose the culture that they have because they're accepting other different types of people or cultures. So I feel like from that allegory, we can take that just because you're accepting of some of a different idea or a different mindset, and you're welcoming towards it, doesn't mean that you're going to lose your own ideas. And it doesn't mean that just because somebody's ideas are different than yours, it doesn't mean that they're wrong. So thank you.